Hi everybody, I'm Zach Van Norman of Once Upon a Fan. I'm here with Emilie de Ravin, who plays Belle. Belle
Hi.
Gold. I think that's her name now, right? Belle Gold.
We
Yes,
didn't do an
she's married.
official name change, but maybe she could have hyphenated. I'm not.
It's true. Belle French Gold.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. She's going to answer some questions for us, so here we go. First of all, thank you for your time today. The promo for the finale is showing us an alternate version of the show and the characters.
Mm-hmm.
What can you tease about the finale for us?
So they did a pretty good job teasing it themselves, I think.
Yeah.
But I think one of the cool things about the finale, which they even mid-season finales on this show, they really do something different with. But just everyone seeing all these characters that you've got used to, 4 seasons of seeing them as they are. Yes, in a couple of different worlds, but as completely different people. It was a lot of fun to play with. So there's things that maybe is a slight insight into someone's character's personality that you haven't seen before. So that's fun. I hope people like it.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to, because the scene of the promo between Belle and Gold, when he's a knight, Rumpelstiltskin is a knight.
I know.
I'm very much looking forward to what that's about. What was the most surprising aspect of Belle's storyline for you this season?
I feel like with her storyline, since day one of me being a part of the show, that she's not a predictable character. She's level-headed, yes. She's not sort of going to go off on some crazy direction, but there's always something coming up in her relationship, especially with Rumple, that constantly surprises me how she's able to keep up the strength of being really the stable partner in that relationship, sticking up for herself, and also just being the person that she wants to be and can be.
Which is very challenging considering all the darts he keeps throwing at their relationship, putting holes in it, and she's still
Yes, she's in a lot of therapy.
Yeah, yeah, lots of sessions with Archie.
Yeah, exactly. Her and Pongo have become very good friends.
Yes, they just go on walks together.
Yeah.
They just talk. It's hilarious. So Belle's costuming has ranged from the classic Beauty and the Beast, gold dress, to new pieces that we've never seen before for any version of Belle. Do you have a favorite costume so far?
Yeah, my favourite's still just the iconic gold dress. Yeah, I love that one. I do like, we did sort of a rendition on that, though, for the finale, which is kind of cool. It's a gold dress, but not the gold dress.
Okay.
So that was fun.
That's interesting. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing that, too. So Belle's confrontation scene with Rumple for the mid-season finale was, I think, one of the best scenes of the season. Your performance truly broke my heart in that when she was banishing him, especially when she said that she had used to see the man behind the beast, and now there's only a beast. Can you tell us more about filming that scene and the overall emotion of it when you were going through it?
Yeah, I mean, it really is a heartbreaking scene to even just read, and especially when it's we shot that basically in the middle of nowhere, in this beautiful location in North Vancouver, and so it's a very quiet location. It's just the two of us. It's not like there's a lot of people around, and so it's luckily for an intimate scene like that helps a lot, and also Bobby and I working together that long have been able to establish such a nice connection with these characters' relationship that any time that there's sort of this great rise, that they've just been in this great place, and then there's just this fall to, but it's all coming from a completely honest, just I don't know. She's driven emotionally, obviously, but she's also driven to stick up for herself, and it was sad shooting it, but I think it was a beautiful scene, and I think it was empowering, as sad as it was.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, it was nice to see Belle finally had enough and was like, okay, you've got to go.
Yeah, it wasn't in a mean way.
I have to do what's best for me. Yeah, I have to do what's best for me, and you're not it right now. So
and it wasn't good for him, if you want to look at it that way either. An unhealthy relationship's not good for either person. So
yeah, because she was his crutch. He always needs a crutch with his cane. Belle was his emotional crutch, and now that was taken from him, so that was heartbreaking. So after Belle banishes Gold from Storybrooke, she begins a relationship with Will Scarlet. I was curious on how you feel about Belle's relationship with Will.
It's a great, fun relationship that they've had. It was sort of, I don't know, I think a very natural transition, even though Will's character's very different from Rumpel's character, which I think is a big part of it. That she'd been drawn into this, really intense, heavy-duty, full-on, half caregiving, half struggling to, still be the person she is. With him, it was a much easier, light-hearted entree into a relationship of not really having to pick up the pieces and put something back together or build somebody up or down. It was just them both being themselves and enjoying each other's company.
Yeah,
It's very sweet.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
Yeah.
It seemed almost like a friendship kind of thing that just evolved into something different naturally over time. It kind of grew organically.
It wasn't a forced sort of, I need to find a partner in life. It was just sort of happened.
And then he's such a funny character that he makes everyone laugh anyway, that, you could probably imagine.
I mean, she kind of needed, I think.
Yes, I think so. With all the dark going on with Gold, she needed something else.
Yeah, she needed somebody that wasn't carrying around a dagger with her maybe for a little bit.
So she doesn't have to just keep it in her purse when she's going to the grocery store to make sure, just in case, So what do you think Belle's happy ending is? Like, for you, what would you think the Belle's happy ending would be?
I think I'm yet to find out, and I kind of like that I don't know. I know a lot of people, want to see her and Rumpel together. And, if that ends up being good for both of them, good. But if not, I think that her happy ending, in my mind, part of it, not predicting or knowing what it could or will be, is just that she stays true to herself.
Which is very important. Yeah. Okay. If you could play any other character on Once Upon a Time besides Belle, who would you play?
The answer is always probably going to be Rumpelstiltskin, just because he's the coolest character in the show. He's so complicated and so layered, and what Robert Carlyle. I don't know how I would do at playing that role personally, but
it'd be very interesting to see the dark version of Belle with like the crinkled hair and the makeup. Just put him in a dress and it'll just be fine.
Season 5.
Yeah, there you go. Right. How do you feel portraying a Disney icon like Belle, because she is so iconic to a particular generation and obviously to others, but for a particular generation she is their icon princess? How does that feel?
Well, it's interesting because I didn't grow up not watching for any specific reason, but I didn't grow up watching Disney movies. I grew up watching, well, no, that's not true. I grew up though watching more live versions of children's films, whether it be Pippi Longstocking, Mary Poppins, that sort of thing, as opposed to the animated films. So it wasn't a character that I, of course I knew of her and I knew the story and I knew the character, but it wasn't something that I grew up being immersed in, that fairy tale princess world. So it's sort of for me as an adult learning about, how impactful these characters are on young girls especially lives. So I think just bringing out all the good qualities in her as much as I can, because if you do have, obviously our demographics very broad age-wise, but if you do have a show that is inviting children to watch, it's always, for me at least, nice to be able to bring something that's not just entertainment to them, that is a quality. If they're looking up to this as a character in their mind that they've known for a long time, you want to have some positive, good things that they can take from them. So just hopefully keeping that present with her.
Good. Which, I think Belle does that, because especially I love the fact that she actually works in the library. And, we've had scenes where she's, like with the Yahweh in season 2, where she uses her brain to figure it out instead of just grabbing a sword, I think that really emphasizes the fact that education is important and that women can, get a good education and, use it to be a strong woman themselves.
Oh, it's extremely important. And also that she's not a princess character that is reliant or ever has been reliant on finding her prince or finding the perfect guy. Yes, of course, she, wants to be in a relationship, wants to be in a healthy relationship, but that's not her goal in life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
It's not like her end game
Right.
situation.
She knows that happiness, has to be found from within.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay. What is your personal favorite scene that you have filmed so far on the show?
Well, I do love that town line scene that we talked about, the uplifting.
Mm-hmm.
But I always go back to, because my favourite episode still probably is the first one I did, Skin Deep. And, really all the scenes in his castle there. The scene, though, I do love the scene where he comes in, even though it's awful that he's just killed my fiancé and turned him into a rose.
Mm-hmm.
He gives me the rose, and that was sort of a bit of like an improv, because that was one of our first, maybe that was the first or second day we worked together.
Mm-hmm.
We just sort of improv this little like curtsy bow thing and just made it this sweet sort of, because that was the moment, at least for me, that it was this transition of her sort of seeing deeper into who he really is as a person, as opposed to this sort of evil facade that he was and still does put on.
I mean, it was the first time we saw him do something sweet
Right.
for somebody else.
And loving seeing how confused he was by that and trying to figure out, hey, what's that? Why am I being nice? I shouldn't be. This isn't me.
Yeah.
Or is it? Yeah.
Yeah, after he catches her when she falls with the curtains, and then he kind of just walks away looking very kind of puzzled at his own behavior. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, she's breaking your walls. That's
Yeah,
what's happening.
yeah.
That was
It's
really
fun. It's a fun thing to play with.
good. Yes, absolutely. I guess my last question would be, you have an upcoming project called The Submarine Kid.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know more about that.
Well, we don't have a release date yet, but it's a movie I worked on last summer that I'm really excited about, and very different from Belle, which is always, anything I ever work on, I try and venture out into doing something that's challenging in a different way with people who I think are really cool and talented and want to work with. And it's a film that I think once again has some really cool messages for people in, and I hope everyone enjoys it.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to getting a release date about that, and of course, once we get a release date for that movie, we will